All right, everybody. We are live here to talk about not only the Sounders did not lose a game, but some breaking news that emerged around halftime during the game is the Seattle Sounders have signed Sporting Kansas City, and I believe Serbian international. He's like in the fringes of it, but still, we take it. Dejan Joveljić. We're obviously like for Sounder standards, this hasn't been great, but we didn't lose and we made a signing. So we're going to be talking about it. I'm going to be live for about like 45-ish minutes because I had plans for tonight. So I'm going to try to do the best I can on very short notice. I appreciate you all tuning into the live on short notice. If you guys haven't already, smash the like button on this stream. If you're watching this as a video, drop a like. Emergency live for the big news about Dejan Joveljić. And make sure to drop your questions as we are doing this live as admin JJ, mod JJ, sorry, admin. Well, he is admin too, but mod JJ will be keeping track of everything you guys are saying, and I will try to keep track as well with the chat. But we will answer all your guys' questions at the very end here. Let me pull this up, see if I can anyway. Just getting the post up for you guys. I'm a little unprepared, if you guys could not tell. But let's share this tab and do this. Oh, wow. It's not even. There you go. LOL. Yeah, that's way better. Okay, guys. Dejan Joveljić. He has signed. Here are the details about this. But do we want. Okay, let me ask you guys this first. Do we want to first talk about the game, then talk about Joveljić, or talk about. Because I honestly don't think there's much to really talk about with the game other than good stuff. We finally didn't lose. I think it's a good point to get away from FC Cincinnati. I think the bigger news is talking about this signing, and I think there's more meat and potatoes and more things to discuss here. But is there anything in particular that you guys want to talk about from the game? Because the game wasn't, it was, again, for where the Sounders are at right now and the form they've been in, this point is great, but the performance-wise was not good. Yeah. Let's just get into talking about Joveljić. Okay, so Sounders signed Joveljić from Sporting Kansas City for $6 million, which is huge. That's one of our biggest signings ever. And that also means, if you guys are following the post next to me, that means Rusnak is no longer going to be a DP, but he is renewed 2 years beyond this season. So now he has a new contract for the next 2 years after this season has concluded. So 2.5 years after that. So yeah, good, bad. We have to say this. If you guys were here for the last stream, Will got it right. Will was the one who called this in the last stream, who said that we would probably extend Rusnak to make him not a DP and then buy a DP. I just didn't expect the DP to be Joveljić because we were rumored with Casper the Ghost, Casper Trenget. I can actually pull this up right now off the page. So it was Casper Tengenstedt, who was really bad. And obviously the guy that I think I was most keen on was Felipe Kenny. So we were rumored these two guys, but in the end, this is what we got. This is what we went for, which is more MLS proven. That's not a problem. Honestly, okay, let's talk about it this way. Between Casper the Ghost, Denke. No, it's not Denke. Denke plays for FC Cincinnati. Kenny. We'll go with Kenny. We'll say his name's Kenny. And Joveljić, I would take Joveljić. The one I for sure wouldn't have taken was Casper the Ghost. But I do think there was more upside, like, unknown factor, upside possibility from Kenny. Philip Kenny from Zurich. I think there could have been more upside. Joveljić, though, he's pretty much a perfect middle ground. The only thing I'll say is I prefer this signing over Cast for the Ghost. Yes, I think I can agree with that too. The only thing I'll say is yes, Dejan Joveljić was a DP for Sporting Kansas City. I personally wouldn't have him as a DP for the Sounders. He wasn't for the Galaxy. He was a U22 for the Galaxy. The profile that Sounders main beat reporters say is doesn't got a high hit rate, and he was the guy that did that. I'm happy we brought Rusnak down. My only problem is we've now renewed him till what? How old is Rusnak right now, chat? 35? Let's look this up. So Rusak's 32, so that means we'll probably have him until he's 35. I'm not fond of that. I'm not fond of that's the thing. Like, there's a double-edged sword to this. I like the signing. Okay, I'm just gonna get all this off my chest. I like the signing of Joveljić. I wouldn't get him as a DP, and I would not have renewed Rusnak for another 2 more years. There you go. I'm just gonna rip it off like a Band-Aid. I like the signing of Joveljić. I don't like that he's a DP, and I don't like that we have re-signed Rusnak for another 2 years. Yes, he's not a DP, but personally for me, I wouldn't have just kept Rusnak whatsoever. I'm I know again this sounds bad and it's very unrealistic, but like people like It's Taco Kids, Poppy Lover, you guys all know I don't rate any of our DPs. I honestly wouldn't keep any of them if it was my choice. So that's why I have a problem. Like in any capacity, I wouldn't keep Pedro Jordan or Rusnak in any capacity. Yeah, of course they wouldn't take like a league minimum Kim Keehee, Freddie Montero type 100K salary. So I would keep him at that kind of pay rate. But I wouldn't keep any of them. So positives being, and before we get into continue getting, everyone drop a like. I mean, this is the biggest, most positive news for the Sounders in ages. We didn't lose, and we made a signing. I think that deserves a like for everyone watching the stream as of now, or just listening to this or watching this as a video. I think it's so funny. The cope is so funny to me. Oh, but Rusnak got an assist today against Sporting Kansas City. A big assist, like a point gaining goal contribution in a sense. Talking about the all in all of this move. So when we spoke in the previous stream, I proposed this question to everyone that was on when it came to Brody, Will. Do we think it is worth making a signing now, or should we just go with what we have, ride it along? It may become the worst season in Sounders history, but do a hard restart and keep our flexibility, like make our flexibility bigger. We have more flexibility by the end of this season. Yes, it sucks. We're going to miss out on another summer transfer window. But the thing is, you know what I just thought about too is the whole big thing about the summer transfer window is the whole world, their markets are all open. And we just signed a guy within MLS. So I think that's my biggest issue. Like, if we were going to make a summer signing, I wouldn't have mind if there was more differenceness to it. And by a little bit of a surprise, we have a guest. You guys want to guess who the guest is? He's mocking me behind the stage, which I don't like. We'll have him on for a brief little bit. Here you go. Let's get him on. Welcome.
Stop trying to. How we doing? How we doing?
Stop. This guy. So I was talking a little bit about the Joveljić signing. So I talked about what I liked and what I didn't like. I liked the signing of Joveljić. I just don't like him as a DP, and I don't like that we had to re-sign Rusnak for another beyond 2 more years after this season.
I thought they weren't going to sign anyone else this summer. I thought that was what was going to happen. I thought I was wrong. Source, right? Who's my sources? God, they must be pretty good, right?
I know it is crazy that you nailed that like on the money because that's
Oh,
literally
thank
exactly what happened.
thank
Ugh,
you.
he bows
Thank
down.
you. Thank you, guys. No, listen, this should be something you guys are excited about. Joveljić is a very good striker. He plays on a horrible team right now. He scored 19 goals for
Yeah.
the LA Galaxy in 2024. He scored 18 goals last year for Sporting Kansas City with absolutely no service whatsoever. Horrible team Sporting Kansas City has been the last 2 years. So he's got 26 goals in 52 appearances. Is this the last move they need to make? Of course not. This is not. I mean, they need to add some more pieces, but this is a good striker. And he's the best striker they've had since Raul Ruidiaz, regardless if that's saying much or not. I think he has a chance to maybe be better or at least the same as Raul Ruidiaz once he gets integrated in here and they get him some help. So I like the signing a lot. I mean, this is a very good signing. To get a proven goal scorer in Major League Soccer is very, very.
But do you think he
Real.
warrants a DP deal? That's the thing. That's the
Of
only
course.
I
Of
think
course.
so.
Yeah, because he scored 18 goals on a horrible team last year. Horrible team. I mean, 18 goals in Major League Soccer is a good output, you know? So if he has good service, he could score 20 to 25. That's not a DP level signing. I mean, I think it's worth it. $6 million. And the fact they paid $6 million for him. Now, is there someone they could have maybe gotten better? Hindsight, should they have tried to have gotten, Hugo Kuipers or something? Yeah, of course. But this is a good alternative. He's only 27 years old, right? So he has I think he has at least like 3 or 4 solid more years left in him. And I think this is what getting a proven goal scorer is. Scoring goals is the most important thing to do in any league around the world. But in Major League Soccer, that is the lifeline. If you can't score, you're not going to win nothing.
So now the question is is this going to solve all the Sounders problem? Well, also too, I don't know like if you saw, but the Sounders didn't lose. I was a little surprised they were able to get a point away at Cincy. Only one shot on target, but they made it count.
I mean, I'm not really worried about that right now. The game didn't matter to me one way or the other because they need to make the moves going forward. I mean, yeah, that's good to get a draw. I mean, this is probably the best news Sounders have had in months, getting a draw and getting this big signing. So yeah, getting a point on the road is big. And, I don't know. I don't think this necessarily was going to save their season, but this is a good building block for the rest of the year heading into next year, right? They got to add some other pieces though. They need a playmaker really bad. I know Rusnak is expected to do that. I don't think he's that guy personally. But, I'm okay with having him as a TAM player going forward. They're going to change the salary cap anyway, so that probably won't be that big of a deal. I mean, look, if you think of what Rusnak has done with the Sounders and think of him as not a DP, doesn't he sound a little bit more appealing? Like,
yeah, I mean, me personally, I would just rather give that space and add more roster flexibility by just not having him. Me personally, I just wouldn't.
Well, I expect what they're probably going to do is they're going to move off of one of their other TAM players next year, like Jesus Ferreira, possibly $1.8 million, because now Rusnak is going to slide into that position and they're going to get rid of Jesus Ferreira. So I think that if you do that, this makes even more sense in the long term. And they're probably going to shed some other guys like Areola, who's making like $1.3 million. Dotson. They're going to shed some salary. So that's why I'm not too worried about it. I mean, look, Rusnak is a solid player. He's just not a DP. But he's definitely worth being if Roldan and Ferreira is getting TAM money, then I think Rusnak definitely is worth getting TAM money. Now, as far as Joveljić, like getting him now and what he can do for the rest of the season, like that's the thing now you ask yourself is like, what can Joveljić come into this team and do in the short term, for the season? And is that going to help maybe make the signing seem better if he can help the Sounders push into the playoff spot? I don't know if he can help them make the playoffs. I still think they need to add another winger. I think they might
just maybe like another attacking piece.
Just another attacking piece who can create some chances and be dangerous in the final third. I think that the Sounders now have a very good chance of sneaking into the playoffs. It maybe as a play-in team, just because I think he's that good. And if they do that, I think that maybe you could.
How much did Galaxy pay for? Sporting Kansas City pay for Joveljić?
I think like 8 or 9 million.
Oh, so they've lost money on him?
Yeah, because he's been there for 2 years. The reason why they're moving off of him is because they're about to bring in they're about to buy Nico Fernandez from New York City for $25 million.
Whoa.
You've been out of the MLS game. I know that you've been so out of MLS, you're not keeping up with what's going around the league. But yeah, they're about to spend $25 million on New York City FC player.
That's crazy.
So they're kind of clearing out all their DPs and they're kind of restarting from the ground level. So we'll see what happens. But getting Joveljić for $6 million is a steal, man. I'm telling you.
Do we know how long his deal's gonna be?
Probably 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Maybe
That
5.
means too, one thing I will say is when I saw this move, to transition onto the topic that you were discussing about now, what do Sounders do with this roster? Because I think more so what this move has done is began the chess game pieces of how they're going to move things. I don't see where where Jordan Morris now belongs in this team. That's one player I think I was like, I feel like, because Musovski is a better back. I mean, Musovski's already proven he's a better forward than Morris right now. And he's probably a better backup anyway.
I mean, there's a chance they can maybe get rid of Jordan Morris too. They might be able to trade him to another team and cover half his salary to where maybe he's not a DP for the new team and he's not a DP for the Sounders. He's making $2.2 million, meaning $1.1 million is on the books for the rest of the year. There's something they can do creatively where maybe they might be able to move him and a team can pick him up for like $600K, which I would say Jordan Morris is worth $600K, especially for if you want him as a depth piece come off the bench, right? So there's a chance that maybe, just maybe, the Sounders also move off of him and maybe get another DP. I don't think that's the most likely thing. And who knows? Jordan Morris might not even play the rest of the season. He might get injured again. He might do the Pedro de la Vega. He might get hurt as soon as he comes back.
He might do the Pedro de la Vega.
He might do the Pedro de la Vega. I'm coining that phrase, by the way. So we'll see, but I do think there is a chance that they do sign a U22. Now that could be an attacker or a winger that I think most likely. I don't think this is the only move they make. And I'm
Really?
1 for 1 so far. I'm one for one so far. So just trust me on this. From what I've heard, I think the Sounders are also trying to line up another move or two. And I think they might be trying to get a U22 attacker, whether that be a create a playmaker in the midfield or a winger.
This is a good point. Actually, I did see news about this. Morris did sell his home.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I do know the Sounders have been trying to move off Jordan Morris, and there were some offers recently in the wintertime. They had some offers for him. I don't think it was anything they liked because they would have had to take him on as a DP and move him. So they would have had to pay some of his salary, and I just don't think they were willing to do that. But I know that there's some offers and some teams that are interested in him. I just don't know who specifically would want him, and I don't know what exactly would need to be done to get the deal over the line.
Yeah, because now that you bring in Joveljić, I just don't see a place anymore for Jordan. I don't really, especially with you keeping Rusnak, I don't see a place for Ferreira anymore. No. And then say if you bring in, and again, let's keep playing this theoretical game because you've also been right. So let's continue that. And you sign like an attacking winger type player in your U22. Where does Pedro de la Vega fit? Because like he's also a DP that's not playing. So it's just like if you have other guys that are gonna play your roles and because like I see some people commenting saying, oh well, Jordan could be like a depth piece. Your depth piece is really gonna be a DP, like a super sub DP. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, so I'm looking at their salary cap right now to see when some deals run out for the Sounders, like when some expiring deals. I do think possibly that this could be a little inaccurate. Maybe these are player options instead of a guaranteed spot, but I do think they're going to move off of maybe Areola, Ferreira. They're definitely going to move off them. I mean, I think this team's going to look completely different in 2027 than they do right now. And Joveljić is kind of like a piece.
And you think that's the beginning piece for
that's the beginning. And I think Rusnak is kind of a bridge player to where you're not too radically different, where you can kind of gap, the old generation, the new generation, because they don't want to go completely. They want someone who kind of has experience in this locker room. You don't want to go completely cold and lose your identity. But I do think that they're going to have a max exodus of players in this offseason. They're going to rebuild it regardless of if Craig is here or Brian is here, regardless of who's the general manager or the head coach. They're going to do a complete rebuild because they probably should have done this last year anyway. So I think that this is the beginning of a new era of the Seattle Sounders, and I don't think it's bad. Like I said, I don't think it's bad. I think Joveljić, you listen, you guys, here people say I'm negative here, right? But this is something you guys should be very positive about. Like this is a good thing. I think that I'm a big fan of Joveljić. I was skeptical of Joveljić when he got traded to Sporting Kansas City because they paid $9 million for him, and he had such great service with the Galaxy with Ricky Puig and Paintsel and Peck. He had all this great service. He scored 19 goals in his first year of Sporting Kansas City on a team that is absolute dog shit. He scored 18 goals. So he won me over when he did that.
Yeah, here we can put up for everyone that's just hopping into the stream. So this has been Joveljić's stats from the last couple of years. I'll also move this down so you guys can see the years. Yeah, last year 18 goals and so he was basically getting a goal every other game with Sporting Kansas City, which is really good.
Go look up their standings last year, just to double check. Just go look and see.
Yeah,
I know they were one of the worst teams in the league.
I think they were.
Too. They might have been the worst team in the league last year. It's close.
MLS standings 2025. They were last place. Yep.
How many points did they have?
28, which the second worst was Galaxy with 30.
How many goals did they score last year?
Goals for were 46.
Okay, so he accounted for 18
half
goals.
the goals basically.
Almost half their goals in 2026 or 2025. So he's very, I mean, he was pretty much the only thing good on that team in 2025 and 2026. He's a good player. Like I'm telling you, you guys should be very happy that you have him.
I mean, he has more goals than anyone on the Sounders right now. I mean, again, he's still keeping up that similar average though. He almost has it like a goal contribution every other game.
I can tell you this, the LA Galaxy were very, very, very upset that they lost him to the Sporting Kansas City.
Of course.
Very upset. They did not want to lose him, but they had to sell him because he was a U22 and they couldn't afford to keep him. Who are the possible wingers that you think Sounders might sign? Any ideas specifically in MLS? I don't think they're going to sign anyone in MLS. I think it would be someone from abroad. This is the only domestic move I think they're going to make. If I'm not, this is just what I'm. This isn't something that I've been told specifically. This is just me guessing on this part. But I think that they'll probably sign someone, a U22 from abroad, and this is their big domestic move. And he does actually show up in big games too. He's very clutch. He's very, very clutch.
Yeah, I mean, he literally scored the goal that knocked the Sounders out of the conference final. We mustn't forget.
Yeah, no, he's good. I'm telling you, if you guys go watch some highlight tapes of Dejan Joveljić, you will start to feel very, very positive about him going forward. And one of the things about him with the Galaxy early in his career was he started off as a super sub, and that's why he didn't get a lot of goals or as much production as he probably.
To make like a basketball reference, he was like that sixth man.
He was
the Harden to the Westbrook to the Durant.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, this is good. I think this is if I had to grade this signing, I would probably give it like a B+.
Barry with the $10 donation saying, I fell asleep just before kickoff, missed everything. I'm so confused. Is this a fever dream? Yes, it is, Barry. Yes, it is a fever dream. I think we can kind of slowly start wrapping things up. So now that Sounders have gone, okay, let's say this. Sounders, so they've gotten Joveljić. That's already done and dusted. Fabrizio Romano, stamp of approval. Kind of crazy to see Fabrizio talking about the signing randomly. But you bring in that U22 guy. Is this more of, could Sounders go back? Like, would these two pieces, let's say two pieces, get them back into this championship team? Or is this more so, oh no, this is just trying to just salvage, get into the playoffs. They don't like, they continue only of missing out on it for 1 year. They still keep that pretty much that record intact. And they just go again and try to make a big rebuild during the off season.
When you say two pieces, are you talking about the hypothetical attacker as well?
Yes, the hypothetical U22
I mean, like
attacker.
I said, even with him, I think they're probably pushing for a playoff spot and they'll be competitive at the end. But they're still building for the future. I think this is more of a lines of trying to save jobs. Brian has his contract expires at the end of the season. He's being persuaded to stay because they're not helping him out. And he's made that frustration
very clear.
Very clear in public more recently. So I think this is more of trying to make sure he's content. And then also Craig Weibel is trying to do something to keep his job saved. Because if he doesn't, he's going to get voted out. I don't know when the vote is for the
But it's
fans,
soon.
but it's soon. I know it's this year at least. So he's trying to save his job, and they're trying more importantly to make sure that Brian doesn't want to leave them, because if he leaves, then there's regardless of what you think of Schmetzer, if you think he's over the hill, or you just think that he's not what he once was, or maybe you do want him to leave, you got to be careful what you wish for, because you just never know what it's
The
going to be.
grass is greener on the other side.
This guy's been the manager almost,
A decade.
more than half the club's existence in MLS, So you just don't really know what you're going to get when you hire a new manager to take over for this team after you've had him for so long. So needless to say, they like him still. They want him to stay, and they're trying to make him happy and want to be part of the team going forward. So yeah, I think they're going to compete for a playoff spot. I don't know where they're going to finish. I think they're going to look much better. They've got to get this attacker in too to help out Joveljić, because I just don't see any creativity right now to help. I mean, I do think he'll still score, but he could score more if they got him some
support, basically, in the
support,
offense.
Goal creativity.
Because think about it. We're talking about Joveljić, arguably Jovelić's best year. I think it really is last season with SKC, or the year that he helped Galaxy win MLS Cup. But you have to think about the support and the cast that he had in that year with the LA Galaxy, because the thing is too, yes, his goals were less than last season, but his minutes were significantly less. So his goal production per minutes was a lot better. And because he had Paintsel, Peck, Puig, all these guys helping him out, supplying him with opportunities, I still think there's a lot of players like your Rusnaks, your Rothrocks that can do that, but obviously not at the same level as like your Paintsels, your Pecks, your Pujas. And at the same time, too, to add more to this is Sounders just need to get freaking healthy. They have a laundry list of injuries, and that's due to our own fault and a little bit of unluckiness. And I do think a big thing for the Sounders was some domino needed to fall. And I'm going to elaborate on this, what I mean. What does Shine mean by a domino needed to fall? Because I think fans, the club, there was a lot of frustration with everybody from top to bottom. So either Brian, again, I'm just saying a domino needed to fall. Brian either had to get sacked. Craig had to either walk out. Craig had to finally make a signing. Players really needed just something needed to happen. And looks like the first domino that has fallen of Joveljić. I still don't think, again, I know people might disagree. I still don't think Joveljić is a Seattle Sounders DP if you want to win. But it depends on who else you bring in. But I don't think he's a DP for what we have right now. And I personally wouldn't have kept Rusnak for such a long time. So I like the signing of Joveljić. It depends on what you now do that you've now signed him. And I think it also depends on who you offload and what roster flexibility you now give yourself. Because I do think it's going to be tough to salvage this season. I don't think Joveljić is going to have a Ladero type impact, but I think it's a positive move going forward. Like, this is the type of move they needed, but they do need to bolster, to go back to what we started with, other pieces that will get you to an MLS Cup, like title winning type team, like, being perennial top winning trophy team in MLS.
No, I like the move personally. I understand why some people might be skeptical, but it's a good move. I mean, if you're hearing it from me, I think that's pretty positive. And this just shows I'm fair and speak my mind honestly. I'm not trying to stir the pot or be disingenuous. This is how I really feel. I think it's a good move for the Seattle Sounders. When you think about the Sounders historically and the moves they've made in the past, outside of like Clint Dempsey, this has got them written all over it. This guy seems like he was destined to be a Seattle Sounder. And there were people saying that they wish they would have traded for him or bought him when the Galaxy had to move off of him in 2024 and
I'm pretty sure we talked about this too. I'm pretty sure we did.
Possibly. I don't remember. It's been so long. I really don't remember. But this is a good move for the Sounders. It's a positive move. It's a step in the right direction. And this is the biggest fee they spent since they signed Pedro de la Vega in the winter of 2025, $6 million. It's $1 million, maybe $2 million short of what they paid for Pedro de la Vega. And if the guy scores, a goal every other game, think about what they paid for Pedro de la Vega, who can't even stay on the field for 8 minutes. They're getting a guy who could be a perennial Golden Boot contender in Major League Soccer. So that's a great, great deal, in my opinion, for $6 million. He's 100% worth a DP. And here's the thing, too. Even if he wasn't, they got him, let's say, for, I don't know, like say that they paid like $2 to $3 million, which would be an even bigger steal. That there was no way that they were ever going to be able to get him for that. His salary is too much. He makes $3 million a year. So like he's a DP regardless.
I know. Yeah. Because that's the same salary that Rusnak makes.
Yeah. He actually makes a little bit more. So he's he's definitely worth it. Great striker, best striker they've had since 20. They bought Rui Diaz in 2018. I want to say Rui Diaz last year was like 2019, 2020, maybe 20. He kind of fell off pretty quickly, if I remember correctly. Like he was good in the beginning and then he fell off pretty quick.
Yeah, he was good. He was really his best year 100% was 2019. He started really falling off 2022 outside of CCL.
Yeah, so it looks like he had some injury, so he never played more than 26 games in a regular season.
But 2019 was his best year. Like he was averaging almost a goal every game.
He had 17 goals in 2021. But either way, they haven't had that type of productivity and lethal goal scoring prowess up top in a while now. And I do think that if you have a guy who can score goals, you can win games. That's a simple fact. I got to run. I got to do a watch along, guys. But listen, Sounders fans, be happy. This is a good signing. I think you guys should really enjoy this. I think that he's going to make you guys very proud and happy. And he's the best designated player you guys have had in a while, in my opinion. And that's saying something. I think maybe better than Rui Diaz. We'll see how it pans out. But this is the hopefully beginning of a new start for the Seattle Sounders. And you guys will have something you can proudly watch again at Lumen Field or at home or wherever the hell you're watching it. So we'll see what happens and we'll see what you guys do the rest of the season. And congratulations, guys.
Thanks, Will. Thanks, Will. Thanks for popping and appreciate it. Make sure to go check out Will. And after we're done with this, go check out his watch along afterwards. All right, we're going to close off with questions that you guys have submitted. And guys, I just wanted to let you all know, I appreciate every single one of you that made it into this emergency live. It wasn't planned. Normally we will be going live on Sundays, at least we're going to be going live on Sundays twice a month at around 6:30 p.m. That's what we're kind of establishing at around that 6:30 p.m. Mark. So make sure you subscribe, dropping a like, and just helping support the channel so we can continue doing this. I know we were on a long hiatus, but we thought with all the noise you guys were making and our messages in person saying we need to bring Rave Korean TV back. We miss your guys' content. I love listening to you guys when I'm at work, when I'm driving. We really appreciate it. So let's get on to questions. So this was sent by Mod JJ. He kept track of everything you guys are saying. And then, of course, for every super chat, we will just answer it right here. And then Barry asks, what did the Sounders give up? So we gave Sporting Kansas City $6 million, but renewed and adjusted Albert Rusnak's contract where he's no longer a DP, but he will be staying 2 years past this year. So until 2028. Well, because they changed the format of the league, but roughly 2028. 2028. So 2028, 2029, however that's going to work. So he'll be there until then. Okay, let me get the questions up that admin JJ has sent. Okay. Could this save Weibel if he makes another move winger? I think it could. It all depends on who else the Sounders now get rid of. That's something I talked about where I think this is the perfect start to the chess game. Now, how are you going to move all the other pieces? I like part of me agrees with Will. We're like, yes, Joveljić is DP-ish. It's just like, I think the problem is because all of our other DPs are so cheeks. Like I really wanted like a big DP, like someone that I knew would be a slam dunk smash 12,000 out of 10 type signing. I still think Joveljić is a 10 out of 10 signing. I just think maybe because of how much we've been punished the last couple of years, which is dog shit business, I was like, okay, I really want something big if we were going to do that. And don't get me wrong, this is big, but I was like astronomical. So Yeah. Okay. So continuing, could this window have been the biggest window rather than what Will said in January? Maybe. Again, this is just one signing, guys. Again, this is the right step in the right direction, but I still think you need to not only make more signings, but get more outgoing transfers. I think some players do need to be sold. I think that's a big, big thing here. I think a lot of other players do need to be sold to help continue opening up more space so then we can make good signings. So this is the step in the right direction for it to be the biggest window. Could we make a signing as well that's not a winger to supplement this move? Yes, I mean we have a U22 spot open. So yes, we could. Will we see any big name players leave this window? Now, this is the question of the day. I'm going to say no, but I would love us to just cut ties with Areola, Dotson, maybe a Ferreira or Morris, either one. I would be cool with that, me personally. I don't think it will happen though, but I think for some of the players I just named, you could do that if you really wanted to. Will we see any big name play? Oh, wait, you already answered that. Will this signing help us get to the playoffs? I think yes, it helps our case a lot more. And I think, of course, not losing today also helped. So I will say yes. I will say yes. This definitely is a big, big help and much needed help that we've needed. Could we move Peppo to the season ending injury list and sign a replacement? This one I'm not sure about. That's actually a really, really good question. Could anyone cross-reference this and double check and let me know? JJ, this might be something I might need you to double check because you know the rules pretty well. So this is TBD. Okay, next question. A month from now, if we have everyone back, who is your starting lineup with Joveljić in the squad? Can the current injured players provide him with some good plays for him to score? Okay, before we get into that, because I think that's a good way to end the stream. Another question that was asked is Rusnak the right choice to keep at the 10 for the future? I personally am gonna say no. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I think one perspective you can have with keeping Rusnak is what Will brought up with how he can bridge that gap of experienced with inexperience. But I think there's so much experience in the squad that I don't think that matters that badly. Just my opinion anyway. Okay. To answer this question, unless we get super chats and I can throw those in before the stream ends. Uh 1 minute. So, what does the squad look like if everyone's healthy and playing with Joveljić? So I think goalkeepers Thomas, right back Alex Roldan, center back pairing of Reagan Yamar, left back Nuhu, 2 DMs of Brunel and Roldan, Rusnak. This is obviously Joveljić up top, Rothrock on the left. You guys want me to do this on Foot Mob? Man, I really didn't want to do this. But okay, we can do this. Foot Mob. All right. We'll do it this way. Okay. So, does this look good? 1 minute. All right, let's do this. I'll just increase my screen a little bit. Whoopsies. We'll do that. Okay, let's do this. Okay, goalkeeper, Fry. Oh, it's Fry. Whoopsies. You guys can also follow along and let me know if you guys agree or it should be someone different. I guess Alex rolled on. I'm just going very like granola for right now, and then we can kind of adjust from there. Reagan, Yamar, Nuhu. So we need the 10, the 2 DMs, something like that. Right mid, left mid. So I would personally go with, obviously Rusnak has to be in here. Rolled on. I guess Brunel. Okay, this is kind of where I get stumped. Obviously Joveljić. Yeah, how do we spell Joveljić's name? Joveljić. This is a name I'm gonna have to learn how to spell. Oh my god, I spelt it wrong. What the heck? I got it. Okay, I'll just look up his first name. I don't know why I didn't just do that. Dejan. That's so much easier. Dejan Kulusevski. That's who I'm looking for. Okay. Now this is where I kind of get stumped, the wingers, because other than Rothrock, we don't have any like out and out wingers. So I guess Rothrock. Here you go. This is the one do we really throw? I don't think Ferrer is good at the right mid spot. Kalani, do you guys want to go with that? That's fine with me. Don't think we really have any good options. Kalani. Okay. I think it would be something like this. This is how I think we would line up. I think we desperately need a winger. So, yeah. So, yeah, if everyone's healthy, this would probably be the Sounders' strongest starting lineup. Do I think this is great? No. Do I think this is better than before? Yes, because of obviously one beautiful Serbian man up top. But yeah, that's what I would say. Okay, any final thoughts, questions before we end today's stream? We've been going on for around 40-ish minutes. I think I'm going to conclude it there. Boys and girls, if you guys haven't already, you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash the like button on this video. If you guys are watching this as a video, drop your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. If you guys are watching this as a live right now, just drop a comment. Just help this stream that will turn into a video get pushed out to more people. All in all, very happy Sounders didn't lose. We made a signing. Hopefully this is the beginning to bigger things for the team. So yeah, that's the hope anyway. But yeah, I appreciate you all for watching during the live, post live, whatever it may be. And I hope you all have a lovely day.